So this is my conspiracy theorist tinfoil hat moment, or tinfoil hat video rather, of the week, maybe of the month, maybe of the year. I don't really like theorizing about conspiracies and about the so-called real truth, but it's worth revisiting actually this topic because I previously thought about it. I haven't done videos about it. But now that I all of a sudden started to think about it, it kind of like makes sense. I forget where I first heard it. It might have been Tucker Carlson. I think it was Tucker Carlson who originally started to talk about it. I know I've certainly heard it there. I don't think I heard this theory before, so I'm going to give Tucker Carlson the credit for it. Anyway, if you look at modern day architecture in the Western Hemisphere, it's all ugly. It's hideous. It's depressing. If you look at Soviet-style architecture from the Soviet era, the East Bloc in Eastern Europe, that's also depressing. If you want to control and enslave a population, and you want to keep them at status quo, and you don't want to inspire growth, you don't want to inspire prosperity, you don't want to inspire anybody to scale, you don't want to inspire progression, then one of the ways to do so is to build ugly buildings. Because if people live in ugly buildings, they get depressed. And if all they see is ugly buildings, horrifying infrastructure, gray and monotonous edifices, then that will affect their psyche more than you think. Think about it. It makes perfect sense. How do you enslave and control a population? Well, you enslave them and control them by limiting their information, by not giving them a lot of food or water or money or whatever. And also, you keep them just gradually depressed by making ugly buildings. I mean, it sounds logical. Just think about it. Just think about it. If I wanted to build a nice building, or if I wanted to build a city from scratch, I'd want the city to be nice. I'd want the city to be prosperous. I'd want the city to look nice. I'd want people who live there to feel happy because the buildings are nice to look at. There are beautiful gardens. There's trees. There's nature. There's all sorts of visually appealing things. Edifices, buildings, and so on. And if I do the opposite, people will feel depressed and they don't want to work hard to improve their lives, which is precisely my point if I'm a brutal tyrant. Think about it. It makes all the sense in the world, really. And so, if you're living in the Western world, if you're living in some other part of the world where they actually construct beautiful buildings, then maybe you don't have the same sort of problem or attitude or struggle. But if you think about it, especially in the Western world, new modern buildings, they're all ugly, they're all hideous. In fact, now that I think about it, churches, modern day churches, are ghastly. They're horrible. They're so incredibly ugly. You'd think the devil was actually working to build these buildings, which I'm sure he is. Because that's not what God intended. God doesn't want his church to be ugly. He wants it to be beautiful. It makes all the sense in the world. And yes, I know a church, the definition of a church is really just a congregation. It's a group of people coming together to worship God, say a prayer, do Bible studies, etc., to praise his name. That's fine. But if you want to build a congregation, like a physical place where you can gather because you need more space, why would you make that building ugly? And if you're building a new library, if you're building a new museum, if you're building new apartment buildings, why make them ugly if you can make them beautiful? Why? Well, if you want to keep your population enslaved and persuade them not to take action, that's what you do. It's one of those hidden menaces. The phantom menace of persuasion really is to make ugly buildings. Just think about it. For more tips and tricks about persuasion, get subscribed to my email list. The link to this house in the episode description wherever you're watching and or listening to this, and I'll see you there.